Hey, it's Chris Carlisle. Welcome to the podcast Highways and Byways. This week, another story from my childhood. This one about leaving a gate open and a dog getting out and running away. But first, we'll look at some news. Major changes are coming to Scott and Aiden Temple. Those changes are, this is from KWXV.com in Waco. Baylor Scott and White is currently undergoing some changes in Temple. There's the possibility of the hospital dropping Blue Cross and Blue Shield patients ahead of the summer. The medical facility is working to grow a pharmacy off of Bell County. The current pharmacy, located off at West Adams in Temple, will be down in August to being used. Hospital officials say all employees have had job offers under the same company in nearby pharmacies. There are other locations in Temple. At 937 at 6031st Street, Suite 19, at 1901 Southwest HK Dodge Loop, Building 300 on the first floor, and at 146 Verbena Drive, in Belton at 309 Lake Road, Suite B, and in Killeen at 2500 Cross Drive. There are Memorial Day weekend scheduled. There's a Memorial Day weekend festival scheduled Sunday in Temple. Lake Belton High has named its top two graduates. They are Aaron Rohindra, who is the valedictorian, and Avery Cabanas, who's the salutatorian. Belton High named its top two graduates. They are Ashutosh Gaman, who is the valedictorian, and Grayson Necessary, the salutatorian. Now let's check what's going on in San Antonio. There's the new music festival coming to downtown San Antonio on June 15th. Researchers in San Antonio have been funded to use AI for faster trauma response decisions. A workshop in San Antonio aims to boost mental health awareness in small businesses. Now to Dallas. Dallas restaurateur Jim Barron, co-founder of the Blue Mesa Grill, passed away at 76. Dallas Bright Futures grants 5 scholarships to Dallas School District seniors. Okay, now let's head to Austin. The Austin American-Statesman reported that global trends have caused growth in Austin, or downtown Austin, to slow down. KView.com reported that the self-driving company Waymo was under a federal investigation. Now to Houston. Concerts, fireworks, and tributes are planned for Memorial Day. They're still cleaning up after the storms the other day. Parents were upset that principals were forced out by the Houston School District. A Houston entrepreneur is facing Gordon Ramsay in a Fox reality show. Okay, next, and in sports, the Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Stars have both advanced to the NBA and NHL playoffs. In fact, the finals of their two conferences. The Mavericks advanced to the NBA Western Finals, where they'll play the Minnesota Timberwolves. Meanwhile, the Dallas Stars advanced to the NHL Western Finals, and they'll play the Edmonton Oilers. I went and saw the Dallas Stars play a few years ago in Dallas at the American Airlines Center. They played the Vancouver Canucks, and they lost the game, I believe. It was the first NHL game that I ever went to. Even though they lost, I had a pretty good time. I also saw the Mavericks play, but that was in preseason before the 1989-90 season and before the 1991-1992 season. In Waco at the Farrell Center at Baylor, which had just opened the year before, I believe, before I went into '89. And I think they won those two games, but they didn't win much after that for a long time. They finally won the NBA title in the 2010-2011 season. The Houston Rockets and the San Antonio Spurs have also won NBA titles. The Rockets won 2 titles, while the Spurs have won 5 titles. They had the Temple Air Show on Saturday. I went to it 20 years ago. I saw a lot of vintage aircraft, both military and civilian, and there was the reenactment of the Pearl Harbor attack. Anyway, next, the story from when I was a little kid. Okay, one Saturday afternoon in 1975, I think, me and my sister went out in the backyard at our home in Houston. I was 5, my sister was 4. We had moved into the house the year before. And we went out to play with our new dog that we just got. And like any kids, we chased him around the yard. And he chased us too. Around the backyard and around the front yard. Finally, our mom called us back inside, so we ran back in through the backyard with our new dog. I think it was time to eat supper, so after we got through eating, it was time to take something for the dog to eat. But when we went back out to take his dish to him, he was gone. We ran around calling for him, but he didn't come. We went outside to tell our mom that he was gone. She went outside with us, and that's when we noticed the gate was open. We forgot to shut it, or I forgot to shut it, when she called us inside. Our dad got up from resting. He and my mom were still married at the time. So we stayed at the house while our mom drove around looking for him. But she never found him. It wasn't until we were teenagers that we got another dog that we were able to keep. By then we had moved to Rosebud. We got a smaller dog than the one that had run away, and we kept him in the house. Of course, we let him out to attend to his business, and he pretty much stayed in the front yard. He was a mischievous little fella. Also, our X finally changed its URL to X.com. They have, of course, I just said earlier in the news that Belton and Lake Belton, and it's valedictorians and salutatorians. They had some other schools that had graduations over this past weekend. I had some Facebook friends who have some of their kids graduated. There's some more graduations coming up this weekend. Okay, coming up, I'll tell you about a YouTube channel I subscribe to. Okay, here's the YouTube channel that I subscribe to. It's the channel that belongs to the Texas Archive of the Moving Image. It's a nonprofit that seeks to preserve and give access to and educate the community about Texas film heritage. It has commercials for Lone Star Beer, Chuck E. Cheese, KFC, Ford, Northern Natural Gas, Southwest Airlines, and Owens Country Sausage. It also has concerts like Willie Nelson's 4th of July picnics, a newscast. There's one from KPRC Channel 2 in Houston, and different interviews with the celebrities and other newsmakers. There's also a film from Channel 2 they took of President Kennedy in Houston the night before his assassination in Dallas. Alright, coming up, a Texas ghost story. Okay, now here's a Texas ghost story. The Memphis Man from Lubbock. They say as you approach the intersection of Memphis Avenue and 66th Street in Lubbock, you'll see the silhouette of a man leaning on a lamppost. But as you get to the intersection, it vanishes. The legend is that it's the spirit of a man who was waiting for a bus on a cold day, and one of the buses, I guess the one he was waiting for, skidded on ice and hit and killed him. Coming up, a look at what happened in Texas in 1958. Texas in 1958. Van Cliburn won the International Piano Competition in Moscow. Jack Kilby drew up the idea for the silicone chip at Texas Instruments in Dallas. Texas beat Oklahoma 15-14 in the Red River Shootout. There were hail and tornadoes in the Houston area on April 22nd. The Corpus Christi Giants were the Texas League champions. There was also a tornado in Wichita Falls. The original Del Mar Fieldhouse in Houston opened. That's where the University of Houston basketball team used to play. It was also used by the Houston high schools. The first Pizza Inn restaurant in Dallas opened. KUT-FM in Austin, 90.3, the NPR station at the University of Texas, went on the air. The Prairie View A&M Panthers were the Black College Football National Champions. The high school football state champions for 1958 were, in the UIL, Wichita Falls won the Class 4A state championship. Breckenridge won the Class 3A state championship. Stanford won the Class 2A state championship. And White Deer won the Class H championship. That was when segregation was still going on. So you also had the Prairie View Interscholastic League, which were what the black schools were under. And their champions were Beaumont Abear in Class 3A, Baytown Carver in Class 2A, and Livingston Dunbar in Class A. Miss Texas for 1958 was Miss Mary Nell Hendricks from Arlington. Next, a Texas sports legend. Now a Texas sports legend. Babe Didricksen Zaharias. She's considered one of the best all-around athletes. She was a golfer, but she also was a track athlete. In fact, she won 2 gold medals in the 1932 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, and she also won a silver medal in those Olympics. As a golfer, she was a co-founder of the LPGA and was a 3-time winner of the U.S. Women's Open. Now, before I go, here's a word from the good book. It's from the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 20, and it says, "For 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, and I am therefore in the midst of them." Well, that's going to do it for this week. I'm Chris Carlisle. I want to thank you. Before I go, I want to leave you some advice. If you have little kids and you send them out to play, and you have your backyard has a fence around it, and you have just got them a new puppy, make sure when they're done playing with them, make sure you close the gate so he doesn't run away. Anyway, please leave a like and a rating and a follow. Again, I'm Chris Carlisle. It's a mouthful. I write, produce, and host this podcast, and I want to thank you for listening.